Continue ka na.
Okay.
Thank you.
Or for the introduction, ito po this is my background of the study. So, just to recap, so rice is the second largest crop globally to be used. So it is also called the classical biogenic silica source. So because the principle behind it is that plants absorb silica, enhancing mechanical strength and resistance against diseases and environmental stressors such as herbivore animals eating them. So they get it's a way to protect themselves from being eaten. So rice hull constituting a significant portion of the paddy rice are often disposed of as waste due to their abrasive structure and their low nutritional value. So researchers are exploring environmentally friendly methods to convert rice hulls into biogenic silica through controlled combustion. So that is what is constant po sa experiment ko, yung combustion. So, biogenic silica obtained from rice hull finds applications in diverse industries, including cement and concrete, wastewater treatment, catalysts, and advanced material synthesis like sodium silicate. So, ito po yung mga studies that are applied to rice hull to showcase yung diversity ng literature na um ano sa kanya, nag i-study sa kanya. So between 90% po yung usually nagiging weight percent, except this one, she's 39. So hindi ko po alam kung ano yun. So ayun po. Okay, next. The significance of this study is first is safety po. Because hindi po kasi hazardous yung deionized water. So it's gonna ensure yung kapag ginamit po siya in an industrial scale, safety for both the workers tsaka sa consumers. And then utilizing environmentally sustainable procedures. So since we want to upcycle the biomass residues, so kasi byproduct siya na sobrang dami na available. So we want to utilize that. And then for economic viability consideration, so the market price estimates for biogenic silica indicate substantial potential, especially for high-grade products, making it a promising venture for various applications, including, yun nga, sinabi ko na kanina. So for the scope and limitation of the study is that first, you're going to get silica from rice hull, so production. And then we're going to analyze so kung ano yung purity niya. And then follow up na lang yung leachate conductivity. And then it's addressing a literature gap kasi wala pa masyadong literature na gumagamit ng deionized water as a leaching solution. And then for the methodology, it is using a gravimetric method, which is not very sensitive. So kaya hindi siya compared po dun sa kaninang sinabi na mga purities, hindi siya tugma doon. So pero tugma siya kapag yung method na yun yung ginamit mo dun sa same thing. So ayun, andun, kasama na rin po yun sa assumptions ko po mamaya na sasabihin ko rin. So, daytime comparison. So, dun nga po, hanapin natin kung alin po dun yung significant, yung magkakaroon ng appreciable effect. So, and then, this is all to investigate the number one, effect of temperature to purity and conductivity, effect of treatment to purity and conductivity, and effect of time to purity and conductivity. So, sinabi ko na rin po yan kanina dun sa abstract. Yeah, okay. So yung time and place of experimentations ko po is this year lang. I did it for around 3 months kasi hindi naman po ako dire-diretso gumawa. Pero ginamit ko po na equipment ay hot plate mainly, tapos conductivity meter, tsaka furnace. Tapos ito po yung mga laboratories na involved sa Department of Chemical Engineering. So for materials and methods, so first is we have to make sure na dry yung yung rice hull samples. So sinabi ko na lang yung location na pinagkuhanan ko kasi depending pala sa location merong doon na discuss ko na rin dati sa RRL ko na nag-iiba rin pala yung amount depending sa kung saan tinanim yung rice. So, nag-iiba din siya ng biogenic silica. So, ito ay located sa Sampaloc, Manila. And then, it's air-dried for 24 hours and should not be piled deeper than 15 cm. So, ginawa ko lang siya in a flat surface. Tapos, dun lang pinatuyo ko lang. Tapos, occasionally turning para hindi magkaroon ng parang microbial something. Okay. So the experimental design of water leaching treatment. So the water leaching treatment, so constant naman to 3 grams of rice hull or the resulting ash. Kasi hindi ko rin naman alam kung ano yung grams ng result. Ay, oo nga pala, alam ko din. Pero hindi siya 3 grams. Syempre, nabawasan na siya. So, ipuput siya sa 100 ml deionized water and then constant yung steering na 150. Tapos, after that, i-filter siya, tapos yung kakaroon ng leachate conductivity analysis. So, kinakalibrate to every time na mini-measure, lagi siyang kinakalibrate or magkakaroon ng discrepancy sa measurements. So, this is the results. Ito yung leach rice hull. And then this is the leach rice hull ash. And then this is the leachate of rice hull. And then this is the leachate of rice hull ash. So, ito ba yung structure ng treatment with time and temperature in duplicate. And then, yung treatments ay in triplicate. So, as was this as suggested by sir before na gawin na lang na yung best leaching conditions para magbawasan yung gagawing experiment. So yun yung ginawa ko, kaya best leaching conditions lang dito, hindi na siya katulad ng parang nandito. So pre-treatment lang yung may time and temperature. So this is the biogenic silica determination by gravimetry. So first, dilute acid solution, ito ay importante for washing yung mga contaminants. 1.5 molars of nitric acid and 3.71 molars hydrochloric acid was prepared by calculating ito. Kasi kaya ko siya nilagay dito kasi nag-iiba pala yung densities ng hydrochloric acid at nitric acid depending sa temperature, sa room temp. So, luckily, nung nag-experiment po ako, constant naman, laging 29 degrees yung nagiging room temperature. So, pare-parehas lang yung na-calculate ko na volume sa paggawa ng dilute acid solution. So this is yung burning process. So gravimetric silica analysis is conducted on 3 grams of rice hull ash at 700 degrees Celsius for 3 hours, following a method outlined by Boone. And then resulting ash will undergo 6 washes. So, ang actually, ito kasi yung kinapapaste. Pero ano po, inisang wash ko na lang siya, pero hindi controlled manner yung pagwash ko, parang in-estimate ko na lang na 5 ml. Pero ano, dahan-dahan din naman. So, and then acid, yung ash na yun ay mafi-filter until the chloride ions detected as precipitate ng AgCl are undetectable. So incinerated again at 700 degrees Celsius for 2 hours and then weighed to determine biogenic silica content. So ito yung steps niya. So yung first ashing, yung 700 degrees for 3 hours, ito yon. Tapos ito yung dilute solution, nag-washing, so parang nakita na parang nabawasan ng carbon content kasi yung black ay carbonaceous material yon. And then after that, yung ito na yung ano, pure biogenic silica, yung white na ash. So this is the statistical analysis that was performed. I using the IBM SPS statistics version 7. So it is all calculated at 0.05 significance level, except for one, yung follow-up ANOVAs po ng Manovacoy, which is kasi depending sa literature na Bonfereni method ay 0.025 significance dapat siya kasi under siya ng MANOVA. So, yun lang naman yung nag-iba ng significance level, pero lahat naman ay 0.05. So, first is yung paired sample t-test. So, i-determine kung ano ba yung sample size na required dun sa experiment ko. And then, ah dito ko din na-determine kung kung ano ba yung test, kung two-way ba or one-way MANOVA ba. And then, pag na-determine na yun, ma-determine yung difference between the dependent variables, which is two keys, yung ginamit ko. Kasi yun daw, based sa literature, yun daw yung robust sa pag-determine. Kasi marami naman post-hoc test, pero two keys yung parang um, applicable three, kapag yung ano mo ay three variances, ganyan. So, this is for the results and discussion. So, I'm going to talk about po kasi ito po ay related sa statistical analysis ko. So, kailangan ko kasi ng mga assumptions na to, except for this one. Kasi this one is dependent sa method na ginamit ko, which is gravimetric. So, dapat yung values ng purity ko ay nagfo-fall between 34 to 60%. So I was distraught kasi yung first title po ng nung pipeline defense ko ay high purity biogenic silica, which is 90% and above. So hindi po yun yung na-produce ko. So yung reason pala is dapat pala ito yung assumption na to ay yung method pala yun ay nakaka-detect lang siya between 34 to 60%. So kung majority ng data ko ay nagfo-fall within nito, is pwede siya. Tapos, yung skewness and kurtosis, so sa literature din, dapat less than 2 absolute value and then less than 9 absolute value. Tapos, dapat yung two trials na yon kasi which is the first uh, um, recommendation na mag-duplicate ako is dapat yung two trials na yon magkaroon ng high or significant correlation. So, P greater than 0. P less than 0.05 dapat. So, and yung height is depending sa type ng correlation coefficient na ginamit. So then the second second portion ng results and discussion ko yung effect of leaching time and temperature on biogenic silica purity, tsaka yung effect of leaching time and temperature on leachate conductivity, which is same lang yung assumptions nila kasi parehas silang two-way ANOVA. First is yung Shapiro-Wilk normality test of P values greater than 0.05. So this is to know na normal yung mga values. Kaya Shapiro-Wilks this is applicable po for 50 yung kapag yung tinetest number ng ng data mo is less than 50 Shapiro-Wilk yung pang testo. So no extreme outliers or box plots. Mamaya makikita din to na detail din to kung may outlier ba ako. At tapos yung Levene's test of homogeneity of variance, so dapat homogeneous yung variance ko, ay dapat greater than 0.05 yung p-values. Also for the last portion um ng results and discussion ko, which is the effect of treatment on purity and conductivity. So first is same din na dapat walang outliers using box plots. So lahat to nag-box plot. And then Shapiro-Wilk normality test uli. And then multivariate out. Ito lang yung naiiba ito yung sa mga difference is because we have to calculate for the Mahalanobis distance of greater than 13.82 kasi yun daw yung critical value. And then linearity scatter plots. So dapat linear yung scatter plot niya. No multicollinearity or singularity, which is a coefficient of greater than 0.9. So dapat less than 0.9 yung correlation coefficient mo. And ang correlation coefficient na ginamit dito ay Pearson correlation coefficient. Tapos singularity, which means that correlation coefficient equal to 1. So also another form of homogeneity of variance test is box test. So dapat greater than 0.05 uli yung p-values niya. Tas uli Levene's test of greater than p-values of 0.05. Okay, for the first one, the comparative analysis of experimental trials. So, nag-perform ako ng triplicate dito sa water leaching treatment. So, may significant difference kasi siya. Kasi nung nag-paired sample t-test ako, yung Cohen's value niya is 1.28. So, yung trial 1 is like 1.28 standard deviations lower than trial 2. So, hindi siya, pag based sa guidelines, kapag greater than 0.8 yung Cohen's D mo, significant, large effect siya. So I have to do triplicates dun sa treatments. And then for the pre-treatment na purity and pre-treatment na conductivity, hindi makikita dito na yung error bars niya yan. Hindi siya katulad dito na sobrang aba. Hindi siya different, significantly different from each other. So okay lang na duplicate sila. So no and then for choosing the statistical test, two-way ANOVAs were employed for these two kasi hindi siya na nagpasa linearity test. So itong picture na to, ito ay for the water leaching treatment type, yung iba-ibang treatment. Nag-pass siya ng linearity test. So linear yung values niya. So pwede siyang gawing multivariate analysis of variance instead of uh two uh, two-way MANOVA, two-way ANOVA na lang siya. Kaya pinag-separate yung treatment ay yung purity tsaka yung conductivity. So pero dun sa varying treatment since linear MANOVA. So this is the box plot. So eto lang naman nung pag in-inspect yung backplots kasi sa SPSS kapag circle yung date yung parang yung nasa labas ng data, hindi siya extreme outliers. Pag asterisk, extreme outliers siya. So merong computation doon pero hindi ko na masyadong parang inano parang tinalk about sa paper sa study ko. Pero isa lang naman yung outlier ko dito sa two-way ANOVA on purity of for time. So isa lang naman dito sa 20 minutes na leaching time ko. And ayun, nagano naman siya, hindi naman siya extreme outlier. So nagpass naman siya dun sa assumptions kanina. Tapos ito yung sa treatment. So kasi pinagsama yung purity and conductivity kaya parang sobrang liit nito pero may error, may bars yan. Tapos and then wala ding outliers. So, for the main part nga, na first is yung effect of leaching time and temperature on biogenic silica purities. So, descriptive statistics lang naman. So, highest yung 15 minutes, followed by 20 minutes, and then 10 minutes. Pero, wala talagang effect, walang significant effect siya. So, wala yung interaction ng time and temperature, hindi siya significant. Yung time, hindi din significant. Yung temperature, hindi din significant. So, obviously, since wala naman significance halos lahat, nung post hoc comparisons ako, wala din significant differences sa values. So, it is worth noting na yung leachate conductivity may significant sa leaching temperature. Kaya it is highly possible na may sources of error ako dito sa pag-determine ng biogenic silica purity. So first is yung variations in drying or weighing. So minsan may mga naiiwan na solute na sample sa lalagyanan. And then not drying crucible to constant mass. So kasi may mga nakita ako um, literature na crucial pala na i-dry mo muna yung crucible. Kasi parang hindi ko siya ginawa, inassume ko na lang na constant, basta constant yung mass ng crucible. Hindi pala kailangan i-ano mo muna siya, i-heat mo muna siya. And then, ito yung chloride, yung pang-wash ko is may loss of chloride ions as nitrosyl chloride during washing. So this is evident, makita nyo na kulay yellow siya. So yung earlier is kulay white, yan, clear. So kasi hindi pa na-produce yung nitrosyl chloride niya. So possible din na hindi na wash properly. And then formation of coprecipitates like SiCl4 and SiNO3. So hindi ko alam kung ano yung parang heat of reaction nito, pero nakita ko na possible siyang ma-form. So ang conclusion ko dyan is that it is an unreactive silica. So because of this characteristic, the biogenic silica remains unaffected by variations in leaching time and temperature. This consistency underscores the resilience and stability of biogenic silica in the face of changes in leaching conditions. So may dalawang forms kasi ng biogenic silica, may reactive tas may unreactive. So it's possible na under siya ng unreactive silica. So effect of leaching time and temperature on leachate conductivity. So one-way ANOVA din. So as I said earlier, merong what's this? Significant difference. So makita nyo na meron talagang parang increasing as time increases, nag-i-increase yung or as temperature increases, ganyan. And ang significant po dito is yung leaching time. So as the water temperature increases, more ions are binding with the organic ions are released into the biomass matrix is likely due to the weakened bonds between the ions and organic compounds in rice hull, facilitating their leachate release. So post hoc tests revealed na may significant difference po dito sa 30 and 65, tsaka 30 and 50. So apparently significantly higher at 50 and 65 compared to 30. Pero parang hindi naman significant yung 50 tsaka 65. So which means that na-release na yung impurities at 50. So kung may mag-further ng study na to is to optimize talaga yung leaching temperature. Kasi may mga points kasi na nare-release pala talaga siya at hanggang dito lang pala yung niya, yung temperature, so 50. So kasi kesa mag 65 ka pala, pwede na pala 50 na ganun na pala yung niya, yung natanggal na pala yung impurities niya at 50. So ito po yung last part, which is last portion ng R&D ko, yung type ng water leaching treatment on biogenic silica purity and leachate conductivity. So ito po yung done in triplicate na ginawa ko. So yung type ng water leaching treatment, so ito yung conclusion, it significantly influence both purity and conductivity. So parehas siyang significant. Specifically, yung both pre and post-treatment samples, yun yung higher values compared with only pre-treatment and post-treatment. So makikita naman sa descriptive statistics yun. So, kasi both siya, para siyang, ayan, yung pinakamataas talaga is ito, yung pre-treatment, tsaka dito sa conductivity pre-treatment. Tapos second is, both pala. Tapos second is pre-treatment. And then third is post-treatment, yung pinaka-lowest. So, it's an evidence of augmenting purity and conductivity, that the combined effects of the small particle size of rice hull ash, kasi sa post-treatment, ash yung tinitreat mo, which is less than, sabi sa literature, 180 microns. And then the role of pre-treatment in maintaining the amorphous nature of biogenic silica by mitigating the risk of crystallization significantly. So, ang sabi kasi sa literature, kasi ang nadedetect ko lang naman is amorphous biogenic silica. So yung crystallize hindi ko siya nadedetect. So kaya kapag pre-treatment mo, pre-prevent niya yung pag-crystallize nun. So makikita naman sa values na ang significant na difference na dependent variables is between both treatments to post-treatment. So, yan. Tsaka pre-treatment, yeah. So, both sa conductivity and purity, malaki yung difference ng pre and post, tsaka pre and post-treatment versus post-treatment alone. So, ang ang reason doon is yun nga, yung pag-crystallize nung pag-mitigate ng crystallization ng biogenic silica ng pre-treatment. Though hindi naman significantly different yung pre and post, maano pa rin, parang combined effects na yun ng ng nag ng pagiging ano niya, small particle size. So, ang mga dissolution na nangyayari dito ay potassium, calcium, magnesium, and sodium. Ito yung mga chemical dynamics na nangyayari sa leaching. Though marami pa, pero ito yung mga major constituents niya. So, it is found that equilibrium in leachate ion conductivity is rapidly attained, indicating efficient dissolution kinetics. So, yeah, ito. So yeah, it's a good result kasi yun nga, tama naman talaga na kapag dalawang treatments ba mas magiging pure or mas magiging clean. So yeah, I will put my bet on it, yung both pre and post treatment. So ito po yung data ko na with the highest purities of biogenic silica. So, Einstein once said, keep on sowing your seed, for you never know which will grow. Perhaps it all will. So, ayan po yung, yung visuals ko na mga umabot ako ng 69.34 purity purity dito sa RUN 10 trial 2, which has 390 conductivity. So, yun po yung proud po ako. Ano po, yan yung yung results, yung raw data ko po. Okay. So just to recap, which nasabi ko na rin po kanina, is yung statistically significant result is that the leaching temperature is changes leachate conductivity like significantly, and there's a significant difference between 50 degrees leaching temperature and 30 degrees, and also a significant difference between 65 degrees and 30 degrees. So the leaching strategy, yung type ng water leaching treatment, is significantly changes the purity, and also the leaching strategy significantly changes conductivity. And then there is also a significant difference between pre and post treatment versus post treatment alone. So because of the crystallization of silica na nangyayari po sa pre-treatment. So for a summary and conclusion, there are three predominant observations. So first is that neither the interaction between leaching time and temperature nor the individual effects of leaching temperature and time were found to be significantly influencing biogenic silica values. So number two, while leaching time did not significantly affect leachate conductivity, temperature had a substantial impact, and it's specifically for the portion of the variance in the conductivity values. And three, the type of water leaching treatment applied to the samples significantly influenced both biogenic silica purity and leachate conductivity. So what does it all means. So first of all, evaluating the performance of leaching time and leaching temperature on biogenic silica purity showed that the inert and unreactive nature of biogenic silica. And also, increased temperature likely weakens the bonds between the ions. And then lastly, the morphology of the minerals must be therefore be carefully considered when producing high purity biogenic silica utilizing rice hull. So these are recommendations. So the recorded phenomena in this study provide the foundation for exploring the macro scale observations of the rice hull ash to reveal chemical cues indicative of significant physiochemical changes. So actually madami talaga um shortcomings yung study ko, pero ito lang yung ilan sa mga minention ko. First is yung enhance yung paggamit ng TGDTA kasi TGDTA augments the sample analysis by the sample subtle temperature changes. So mas magkakaroon ng enhanced sensitivity compared sa ginawa ko na classical gravimetric method. So next is the use of actually this is a new form of XRF, electrochemical XRF. So magkakaroon ulit same as GGDTA. Actually 4 orders of magnitude yung difference ng XRF sa normal na sa etong electrochemical XRF sa normal na XRF. So that's like 10 with 4 zeros. So ang laki ng difference. And then combustion temperature changes for purity indication. So changes in combustion temperatures near transition points, factoring in the ionized and the used solution can provide precise indications of purity. So kasi yung combustion temperature ko ano siya from different studies siya. So hindi ko sure kung inano ko na lang siya na parang pinagsama ko na lang pero hindi siya as one. So magkakaroon ng siguro pag-change yung combustion temperature magkakaroon ng better detection. So and then additional characterization strategies. So actually nung una dito po ako nag-focus yung mga X-ray XRD, yung X-ray powder diffraction, low temperature nitrogen absorption. So magkakaroon na kasi nga 'di ba sinabi mentioned earlier na yung kapag di ka nag-pre-treatment, nagki-crystallize yung silica mo. So makikita dito kung crystallized ba siya or amorphous ba siya. So mga textural properties. And then actually so dapat ma-minimize talaga yung crystallization nung biogenic silica. And then also may mga emission compliance pala nung nag-research ako ng combustion kasi may mga na-produce na NOx tsaka SOx emissions. So dapat ma-meet yun yung regulatory standards for gaseous emission. So yung ginawa ko naman, nag-meet naman siya. So hindi naman nag-comply naman yung temperature ng combustion ko. Pero pag ni large scale kasi magkakaroon ng malaking emissions. So also other leaching solutions and other biomass sources should also be investigated, and also exploring yung effect ba ng paggamit ng quantitative methods na hindi specialized equipment could provide cost-effective insights sa product behavior. So kung may gusto man mag-produce ng study na to, yung katulad nga nung sinabi ko kaninang assumption na 34 to 60% yung mga values, ah kung ano ba, kung may significant difference ba, kung ito ba yung ginamit mo versus, kasi usually mga students naghahanap talaga sila ng cost effective na um na procedures. So thank you po. Yun na po yung final na slide ko. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Colleen. Sir Mervin and Sir Gino, open na po yung floor for your questions. Thank you.
Sige, ako na lang siguro muna. Colleen, yung ano lang, yung regarding dun sa time, leaching time, pakibalik nga dun. Ano nga ba ulit yung discussion mo dito? Kasi, sige, pabalik ng leaching time. Hindi, dun sa yung presentation mismo ng data. Hindi, sige, yung nadaanan kanina. Forward pa. Ayan, ito. Ayun, yung previous slide nito. So, ang time na ito is, leaching time, di ba? Ang question ko kasi parang kung papansinin natin, hindi naman siya really linear. Pero parang ang trend niya is bumababa sa 15. So parang ang weird lang. Anong meron dun sa 15 minutes? Bakit kaya parang nagdi-dip siya compared dun sa 10 and 20 minutes? Ano na lang,
Ano po yun?
ulit ng explanation.
Ano po yun, sir? Yung 15 minutes po, ano?
Kasi iba yung parang bumaba yung trend nitong estimated marginal means. So anong explanation ulit dito?
Ano po yan? Sir, ano po? Hindi ko get.
Bakit, ano daw yung explanation? Bakit sa 15 minutes bumababa yung
Hindi po
data?
siya linear.
Oo.
Oo. Bakit hindi siya linear? Ano nga ba ulit yung explanation mo dito kanina?
Saan po ba to sa time?
Oo, leaching time.
Hindi ko nga po. Baka po kasi, actually, yung, yung, yung water-soluble impurities may have been released at temperature 50 degrees, yung explanation ko po kanina. Pero yung sa 15 ko po, feeling ko source of error ko po yan. Parang, baka po na-release na po siya hindi ko din po alam bakit siya bumaba.
Okay, sige. So siguro para lang ma-improve yung discussion kasi maganda naman yung ibang data mo so far, di ba? So
Yes.
ano lang, added explanation, ano bang meron sa time at 15? So ang ibig sabihin ba nito is yung time 15 hindi siya ideal para doon sa mo,
Actually,
dito sa Biogen at Silica.
15 tsaka ano po yun 30 degrees. So baka hindi nga po, parang may something po siguro dyan. Hindi ko,
Kasi kahit doon sa iba, 'di ba? Like for example, itong ibang mga data. Pagdating sa 15 minutes yun nga, parang medyo nag-dip lang siya. Although hindi ganun kalaki, hindi katulad yung dito sa data mo yung pinakailalim, yung at 30. At 30 tong blue, no?
Opo, 30 po yung blue.
Itong green ay
Ano, 50,
tapos 60 yung red. Tama ba?
65 po.
65. Okay. Ayun lang. Baka kasi may something nga dun sa... Tapos bakit at time 15 minutes? Ano kaya yung possible na naging problem? Or not necessarily problem. Or yun nga, ano
Okay
yung
po.
possible na theory?
Okay po, sir. Thank you. Noted
Okay,
po.
sige, yun lang. Ma'am, then so far, yun lang yung nakita ko na yung question ko dun sa data ni Pauline.
Thank you, sir. So, Colleen, siguro ano mo lang Kasi halos lahat ng data mo sa 15 minutes bumaba siya. So kung ano yun, kung human error, parang bakit yung tatlong yun ay bumaba talaga? Parang siguro na si sir na possible na merong ibang reason for this.
Pero ay, ma'am Den,
Yes.
pahabol pala. Kung human error, sabay-sabay mo bang ginawa yung, kunwari, 15 minutes, tapos nag-vary ka lang nung temperature?
Hindi po, actually ang ginawa ko po is sabay-sabay yung minutes, tapos sabay-sabay yung temperature.
Tapos iba-ibang
Opo.
minutes.
Opo.
Okay. Kasi kung ipa-factor in natin yung human error, posible kapag kunwari nung isang araw ng run mo, pinagsabay-sabay mo lahat ng 15 minutes. Ayan, pwede nating masabi na baka nga may error ka nung araw na yon. Kasi sabay-sabay mong ni-run yung ano na yon. Yung setup nung araw na yon, sabay-sabay yung 15 minutes, iniba-iba mo lang yung time. Pero kung hindi pala, ayan. So, baka nga baka may mahanap kang explanation. So, hanap ka lang sa mga journal articles. Baka may na-discuss silang ganito.
Okay po.
Okay po. Thank you, Sir Gino. Sir Mervin?
Hello.
Hello. Hello, sir.
Sige, tingnan natin yung purity, wala talaga siyang yung factors, walang effect sa purity based sa stat.
Opo, wala po talaga. Hindi ko po alam bakit.
Oo nga, pero pag
lang po,
mo siya,
actually, theory ko lang po
sa
to.
15 minutes, may something sa 15 minutes, like parang doon nagkaaroon ng peak yung purity mo. So
Dito
parang
po?
meron talagang point na sir that there might be something happening or not sure kung error ba yon. But generally, mas mataas yung mga values sa 15 minutes, no? Pero ang sabi mo naman ay rinaran mo sila per temperature?
Yes po, binavary lang po yung time.
Okay, so parang it appears na hindi lang siya error. Probably may something talaga na nangyayari. Tapos, baka hindi lang ganun ka-significant yung effects nila sa purity, but I think meron pa din. You can try to analyze them separately. So, pwede mong gawin yun. No? So, pwede mo yun per temperature or per time, no? I-compare mo naman yung temperatures. So, yun.
Okay. Bali, one way ANOVA. Ganun po.
Parang ganun, pero not necessary po na kailangan ganun katindi yung nasasat. Pero, yun. So that you can somehow get some insight dito sa data mo. Kasi maganda naman yung data mo eh. Okay? So, perhaps, no, hindi mo siya makikita sa ANOVA because ANOVA is trying to explain everything, no, with your parameters, no. So baka hindi parang confound na, no, hindi mo na ma-observe, but perhaps kapag tinignan mo siya na mas individually, baka meron ka makita, no. So I think mas better siguro pag ito makita natin visually, no, yung mga data na to. Baka mas madali natin siyang understand para sa audience. Okay.
Ay, hindi ko na po kasi i-visual yung dito kasi gawa nga po wala po siyang significance. So, hindi ko na po, pero nandun po siya sa appendix ko po.
For the for the conductivity, sabi mo dito yung time parang walang effect? Parang may effect yung time in a way.
Wala pong effect wala pong significant effect yung time.
Walang significant effect yung time.
Opo. Tapos makita din po dito sa post-hoc. Ayan po.
Is it analyzed ba siya as a whole or analyzed per temperature? If it's analyzed as a whole, possible nga talagang makuha natin yung ganong results. Especially if you would think about it na If you have longer time, parang mayroong limit yung nare-release mo na, let's say, mga impurities, no? So, magkakaroon ka ngayon ng walang effect at longer time because they tend to go or converge to a certain conductivity. So that's possible. So I think dito,
Ay, wait lang po. Ano po yun? Hindi ka po nakuha. Ano po yun, sir?
ano lang siguro it's the same approach lang din dun sa dun sa una, no? You might be able to see more ideas dito or insights by looking at the data per temperature, no, or per time. Pwede mong ganun yung gawin mong analysis. Since these are triplicates naman, di ba?
Ito po, duplicate.
Okay, duplicate. Duplicate. So at least meron ka namang standard dev to compare, siguro.
Yes po, ito po. Yun.
So yan. Parang kasing meron naman siyang maybe sa overall sense, parang wala because of ANOVA, pero maybe individually, they have some significance, no? Maybe not significant to be modeled, pero significant yung effect niya.
Sir, may ano po kayo? Parang
In
alam
terms of
po kayo
comparison.
na test na pwedeng malaman yung significance niya individually.
Yes, pwede naman. Actually, ginagawa mo naman siya yung comparative test kanina. Parang ganun lang siya, but yung compare mo lang between two data points.
Yung dependent samples, parang ganun po, dependent samples test.
I'm not sure dun sa term, pero parang ganun.
Sige, mag-search na lang po. Pero yun nga po, hanapin po, tama po ba yung intindi ko? Hanapin po yung individual significance ng mga dependent samples.
Pwede mo siyang tingnan not strictly dependent sa statistical software. Kasi may different ways to do other statistics and statistical comparison. Baka kasi nalilimit ka nung software mo, no? Kasi ang software is a tool for you to analyze yung data mo, but in a way it can also limit yung analysis mo, lalo na kapag sinabi niya it's not significant, but if you would look at the data, you would see some trends. No? You would see here, there's an increase, no? There is an increase. Tapos there is something about the 15 minutes, no?
Okay po.
Meron siyang effect dun sa response mo. Although hindi mo nga siya makita, nako-confound ka kasi you're trying to look at it as a whole. So yun. Tapos, doon naman sa pangalawa, about sa treatment, parang okay naman tayo doon sa treatment, no? I think it's logical yung nakuha mong conclusion, no? So, parang lumabas is very essential si pre-treatment, more than post-treatment alone. But together, mas okay yung response nila. Tama?
Apo. Mas okay po yung combined effects niya.
Okay. So yun, I think that one is okay naman. Okay, so more on the first parts regarding time and temperature correlations. Yun siguro yung pwede pang ma-improve na. For the rest naman sa let's say sa manuscript, no, generally yung mga photos lang, mas maganda sana orientation, and then more yung mga visualized data, siguro kailangan din natin mailagay rather than tables, no? It's better to yung mga tables natin sa natin appendix na lang sa mga discussion, doon yung ating mga graph, no? And then for the statistical analysis, medyo malakas yung ingay. For the statistical analysis, I think kung kaya mo silang maipon sa dulo na lang sa appendix, no? Para yung first parts mo is actually focused on the results alone, no? Nakafocus ka na doon sa what is the effect of leaching time on let's say, effect of leaching time on purity. Then meron ka pong separate na table effect, separate let's say paragraph na effect of leaching time on leachate conductivity, no? So mas madali siyang iintindihin for your audience, no? Kasi gusto mong i-share yung knowledge, no? So it's not about the it's not about the statistical analysis, but more on ma-deliver mo ano yung mga natutunan mo from your research, no? So hopefully ma-adapt natin. So madami ka naman explanation dito, but same insights kami ni Sir Gino about the effects ng temperature and time, and yung about dun sa 15-minute na point. I think we have something na ma-explain mo pa further. Ma'am, I think madami na ako nasabi.
Thank you, Sir Mervin. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yan, pakitake note lang yung mga comments ni Sir, and then next week, pwedeng mag face-to-face tayong dalawa para ma-edit na yun natin na yung manus mo.
Okay po.
May klase ako pwede ka Monday na umaga.
Yes po.
Yan, pero i-incorporate mo na rin yung mga comments ni Sir. Then, yun, then mag-edit tayo sa Monday. Or
Okay po, ma'am.
Tapos
Okay po.
yung mga questions ko.
Okay po.
Okay, thank you, Colleen. Congrats. Thank
Yay!
Congrats sa
Congrats!
yung final. Yung 5%.
Yay!
Yun. So, ano na lang natin ay yung final manuscript na dapat ay kumpleto and tama yung ating format para ma-approve ng SROC. So, yun. So, thank you, Sir Gino, tsaka Sir Merwin po sa guidance niyo kay Colleen.
Okay. Thank you din, and congrats rin, Colleen.
Thank you.
Thank you po.
Oh, grabe. Pagod na po ako.
At least konting push na lang, manus na lang. So, yun.
Okay po. Sige po.
I-send ko na lang din sa iyo yung recording.
Okay po.
Okay, sige. Thank you po. Bye-bye po. Pwede mo nang i-end, Colleen. Thank